Welcome to another Chef Knives to Go quick look product review. I'm Steve Gamache, and what we have this time is the Yahiko Kurouchi series. This is the Shidogami number 2 Kurouchi Nakiri 165mm knife. So the core steel in this line is Shidogami, or what's known as white paper number 2 reactive high carbon steel from Hitachi. The heat treat they shoot for is about 61 to 62 Rockwell in that core steel as far as the hardness goes. It's not a scientific method. It's done by probably by feel and by look. But that's kind of what they shoot for. The construction is 3 layers. So on either side of that core steel, there's a soft stainless cladding, and that's a 3-layer sandwich. And then on top of that cladding, they've also put a Kurouchi or blacksmith finish on it as well for some extra corrosion protection and also the aesthetic that they're shooting for with this line. I found between the knives that I've used, between this and the Nishiji series, that the stainless cladding does stain a little bit, so it's not full-on, crazy stainless like for salt water or what you have on your silverware that goes in the dishwasher. But so you may see some light staining on it. Don't be alarmed. It's actually not that uncommon for this type of stainless cladding, so you may need to occasionally polish that out if you don't like the look of it. The core steel definitely is reactive, so you got to make sure you keep that dry. In between use. The weight and dimensions on these knives are going to vary a little bit from piece to piece because they're handmade, but on this particular one, the weight's about 149 grams or 5.3 ounces. Edge length from the back of the heel here, the chin, towards where the curve starts on the tip is about 165 millimeters or 6.5 inches. The overall length's about 310, 311 millimeters or a little over 12 inches. And then these are fairly thick coming out of the handle, and this one thins out pretty quickly down the length of the knife, but they're stiff knives. And so this one's about 4.1 millimeter. They'll be in the 4-ish range coming out of the handle. And then it drops down. This one drops down pretty aggressively to about 1.7 halfway down the blade. And then even maybe slightly less than that towards the front of the blades. We get the camera to focus here. There we go. So again, you can see it thins out really quick, but it makes for a pretty stiff blade. The height at the back of the blade is about 52.6, and then halfway down it's like almost 51. So it gets a little bit skinnier or less high towards the front of the blade. Handles are well done octagonal hoe wood with buffalo horn ferrules, and all but one handle has been really quite smooth between the ferrule and the wood. Both Nakiris have been like dead smooth, so this one's like really smooth. And this one they've all had kind of a different look to the hoe wood, so they've got a nice kind of selection of wood, whoever this handle maker is. They've done a great job on it. The install at the tang is tight on all 6 knives I've had from the 2 lines, 3 in each line, and so I've seen a lot of consistency from this maker. Let's see, handle circumference 76 millimeters, 3 inches at the ferrule and the wood, so it's pretty standard size. And these knives, again, I've seen 6 between 2 lines, 2 Nakiris, 2 210 Gyutos, and 2 240 Gyutos, and they've all been really consistent on fit and finish and quality. So they've got hand-chiseled kanji, and they've got a pretty smooth finish on the Kurouchi. I'll show you a little close-up of that in a second. You've got a frosted, kind of a sandblasted blade road, and then you've got the core steel showing at the edge. The grinds seem like they're pretty close to 50-50. Out of the box edge, I'll give it a good 6 out of 10. They've all had pretty nice out of the box edges, and they've rounded and relieved the spine and also the choil really well, so they're very comfortable. Fit and finish is at a high level. The grinds are nice. The profiles are nice. They're straight. So this blacksmith in this shop does very good, consistent quality work. So if we can maybe get a little bit of a close-up here. See if our camera will macro mode kick in. Macro, there we go. So you can see it's a pretty smooth finish. I can't really tell you what the durability on the Kurouchi is on these, but it seems like it's well executed and nicely applied. So hopefully that'll translate into some longevity for the Kurouchi finish. Some wear like iron and some come off really fast, so I really can't tell you at this point. Check the forums or some reviews on these as time goes by. Maybe you'll get some feedback on that, but really nice aesthetic on these. Again, these are, as I mentioned in the other videos, these are fairly similar between the Nishiji and the Kurouchi line. The Nishiji ones have been slightly heavier, slightly taller, but quite similar. The performance is excellent on these knives. Let's take a look at the profile on this. Oh, let's go to balance point. Sorry, I almost forgot that. So your balance point is right about there because the handles are light. And this one's pretty thin as it goes down, so it's actually a little bit further back than the Nishiji version, but for me it's right on the pinch grip, so it gives you a nice nimble feel to it. And these are all quite flat, so both Nakiris have been very flat on profile, so that should be a consistent feature of the maker, judging by the consistency of the other knives I've seen. So very flat, stop at the heel, and then you do have the kind of semi-rounded tip there, so that does let you rock over short stuff. If you want to do that, you got to do some scallions or some herbs or something like that. You can definitely rock this over short stuff, but it's definitely a chopper for sure. Or in the 80s, they'd say for sure. So there you have a well-executed, high-quality, high craftsmanship Nakiri. And if you're looking for something in a KU finish with stainless cladding, there you go. So this is the Yahiko Shidogami number 2 Kurouchi Nakiri 165mm knife.